Hello, and welcome to my top 10 greatest players of all time list. Now, we have to do this for Plat Chat. I won't be on that Plat Chat episode, I don't think. But I am joined by my Twitch and YouTube chat, as you can see just there. And we have 10 players to choose here. Actually, wait, it does go down to 15. So we have 15 players, I guess, to choose from. Now, I'm going to do this as I normally do this, which is come up with a shortlist. Now, luckily for me, Kurt and Plat Chat have already come up with somewhat of a shortlist of players here, as you can see. We're just going to go down and we're just going to note some players, and I'm just going to write them here in pen. So we've got, for instance, Althea, I think. Angel and Artist, interesting to start off with. I don't think either of these will make my list personally, but Aspas, you know, is a good consideration. Benkai, but Boaster, we hit one that I think should be on the list. I think Buzz. Now, CNED, it is an interesting one. I don't think I can put Com on there, to be honest, no. Another interesting one is Demon 1. But I think Demon 1, doesn't Demon 1 fall into the CNED category? Durker, I do think I'm probably going to. Forsaken, I think can definitely get on the shortlist. FNS, I think can go on the shortlist. Jing, I think. Leaf. How many players can you put on a list that haven't won a trophy? Because there's enough other good players that have won trophies. But then again, I guess I'm saying that about Leaf, but Mako also has not won a trophy. I personally would rank Mako higher than Leaf. I think Mako might be an exception to the rule, to be honest. You might even argue Mako has been the literal most consistent player in Valorant history. Is that a bad take? Yeah, so I think for that reason we can put him on there. As we go down, again, I mentioned this to Elevated just before we started recording this, but Meteor, I think, at least has to be on the shortlist. And I think Meteor is an interesting case, because unlike a lot of these players that we're going to be talking about, Meteor's case basically all comes from 2024 and 2025. Nats, I think, certainly in consideration. Sadak, I think, is definitely in consideration, as is Sassy, I think. See, when I look at Xiao and I look at these other names, I do feel bad for FPX. The FPX players who won Copenhagen, because a part of me really does believe that they might have won Reykjavik had they been allowed to go. And had they won that, or even just come second, we might look at them a bit differently. Again, something I think is going to get demoted here worse than Forsaken and Jing, because obviously he wasn't a part of the first Copenhagen run. I mean, we've reached 10s. I think 10s, obviously. I see Trent and Valen again are names that maybe will end up on this list in the future, but we'll see. Right, Yay, I think is in consideration. I think we will put Zekken in consideration, and Kankang. I think that is my list of consideration for players. So that is a list of what? So I guess this is, if it is, that I guess in some order is my top 20. Zekken above Texture. But Zekken has done it for longer, no? Like, Zekken on Xset was also really good. I think Jorg, again, had G2 won Bangkok, I think Jorg would have a decent case, but I'm just not sure he's getting ahead. Like, let's do Jorg versus, like, Buzz, for instance, right? Like, again, if you count champs as being worth more, which some of you will and some of you won't, then that's one way of looking at it. Like, Buzz has a lot more longevity. The way that I'm thinking about this list is, if you told the story of competitive Valorant, like you just went through kind of, you know, let's say you did a 2-hour lecture on professional Valorant history, what players would come up the most? And then add like performance into that as well. Because to me, this is different to a normal top 10 list. What I do for the top 10 list for me is about at that moment in time, who is playing the best. So I think we can start getting rid of some people, and judging by how negatively some of you talked about Zekken, I do think that looking at some of the other names on the list, I would have other people ahead of Zekken. Maybe what I should do is I should do what I do for my normal list, which is write down the players who are definitely making the list. So the players who are definitely making the list. Oh, and again, we can order them later. Aspas, Kron. I do think you have to put Boaster on there. You have to put Boaster on there. I do think you have to put Durker on there as well. I think that now you have to put Forsaken on there. Who else would I doubt? Tens has to be on there. A lot of you are saying Leo. take Leo, you have to take Ye as well.
If
Exactly.
you take Leo,
That's
you
what
have
I'm
to
thinking.
take
Zolbox.
Ye as well.
That was exactly my thought. If you put Leo on the list, what is your argument against Ye? And I'm not saying they both won't make the list. They might both make the list. I'm not saying that that's wrong. I'm just saying I don't want to fully commit to that idea yet. Because I need to think about it. And I think Kang is such an interesting debate as well. I think that Buzz is looking a little out of place, to be honest. Now, I would probably put Alpha pretty high on this list of the ones who are left. Well, I think let's start with this. Sadek or FNS? They both have one trophy. They both have lost multiple finals. And then they've also both had various, like, you know, third, fourth type finishes as well. I think I'm leaning slightly Sadek, but I think it's close. But FNS could still make the top 15. But I think I'd lean Sadek over FNS slightly. Anyway, let's move on to other people on this list. Here's the thing. I mean, we've already got 6 people on the list. I don't think there's going to be space for, like, all of these Loud players. And I feel like out of Sadek, Sassy, and Les, feel like you'd go Sadek and Sassy over Les. So I think I might need to get rid of Les. So I need to get rid of 2 more for the overall top 15. Mako, again, is the player who hasn't won anything. But as we said, is the most consistent player, perhaps, of all time. But I do think that is going to just count against him. And it's an easy way of doing this. What's Meteor's impact in Valorant?
What's Meteor's impact in Valorant? Remove him from the list.
Won 2 trophies, came second in another trophy, double MVP. Easily one of the best players in the world during that time. This is what I mean. Just because it didn't happen in 2022 doesn't mean it didn't happen. Undeserved MVPs? I mean, you could say that you thought that someone else deserved that MVP, and that's fine. Like, I could say in the most recent tournament that Alpha deserved the MVP. Right? That Forsaken didn't actually deserve that MVP. Alpha did. And I think that's a perfectly reasonable thing to say. The first one was definitely deserved. The Gen G one. The T1 one, I think you could argue that Itsu deserved it a bit more. I'm not getting rid of Ye. I'm not getting rid of Ye. You're all wrong about that. Man, this is so hard. I think it's between these 3. Jing or Nats. I think FNS has to make the top 15. It's gonna be Nats. It's gonna be Nats. It's gonna be Nats. It's gonna be Nats. And I think I can lock FNS and Jing down here. I can lock them in. And I can lock Meteor into 13, is what I've decided. I'm going 15, I'm going FNS. 14, I'm going Jing. 13, I'm going Meteor. Then it gets a bit harder. Then, actually, it doesn't get harder. I think I'm going Sadek now. A lot of you are against Ye. I know that you're against Ye. Some of you are even telling me to remove Ye. The thing is with Ye, that I think people are misunderstanding, is that yes, did Ye abuse Chamber? Yes. I've got news for you, though. Everyone else had the chance to abuse Chamber as well. And they did. And you know what? None of them even came close to how good Ye was. None of them even came close. Ye did not go negative for an entire year. And the thing also that people forget is that you're all bringing up FNS envy. Ye was also on that team and was a very good duelist at that time as well. Doesn't Ye fall in the same category as Demon 1? No, not at all. Because this is what people don't understand. Ye's dominance was way higher than Demon 1's dominance. Way higher. They weren't even on the same level. We're not even talking... Demon 1 was slightly better than the next Jet player at his peak. Yet there was a chasm. There was a literal chasm. There was not any debate. Ye's making this list. I don't... for me, the next debate is probably between Alpha and Kang. I think this is my next debate. And I'm with you. I think that Alpha is higher than Kang, especially considering the most... I mean, again, the recent stuff does still count. Maybe it helps Alpha that he absolutely went crazy in that last tournament. Alpha's making the top 10. He's going in at 10. So I guess that these are my top 6. These guys are my top 6, I guess. And the next 3 will be these 3 in some order. 7, 8, 9. I mean, look, Leo is my favorite player of all time. And this is my list. Yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go Ye. I'm going to go Sassy. And I'm going to go Leo. Because Leo is my favorite player of all time. So, I don't care if you disagree. And then we're down to these 6. I think it's going to be Forsaken in 6. Now, where to put Boaster is a difficult one on this. Because Boaster obviously is very unlike you know, the rest of these players. I don't think he's gonna end in the top. I think he's gonna be 4 or 5, probably. So I could just put him here now. Yeah, let's just make the decision for myself. Let's put Boaster 5. I think it actually is probably 10s here. From what we know thus far, had a bigger dip than Durka.
Tens was washed for 2 to 3 years straight. He is below Boaster.
Also, Tens' career is over, like, you know, so if we go forward, at least I'll know where Tens ended up. Then I think I'm gonna go Durka, and then it's between these two for number 1. I'm interested. I think this will probably end up the top 2. Now, it's interesting. So many of you are saying Kron 1. I don't think I agree. It's so interesting. So many of you think that Kron is 1. Chronicle's the most decorated player in Valorant history. Yeah, but is he the greatest player in history? Was Chronicle ever definitively the best player on his team? And if you want yes in Gambit, no on Gambit. No on Gambit. You're forgetting about a certain guy called Nats. Look, I'm doing it. It's my list. And again, there's my reasoning. There's my reasoning. Has Chronicle ever definitively been the best player on his team? I don't think you can definitively say that that's the case. He's still second. I mean, you guys, again, are treating this like I've not put Chronicle on the list. He's second. He's second. I don't think that's crazy. So, here's the list. Aspas. Chronicle. Durka. Tens. Boaster. Forsaken. Leo. Sassy. Yay. Althea. Kang. Sadak. Meteor. Jing. FNS.